Blessings and peace to you. This is SB Favor Thinking Podcast, and my name is SB Favor. How are you doing today? It is Monday, July 11th, 2022. Another wonderful day and another day to be thankful. And as I always say, if you focus on what is good, then you can project something good to happen. It does not benefit you to sit around and focus on the negative things. So if you're one of those people that's just sitting around watching TV and letting your mind go wild, guess what? Control those thoughts. Focus on what is good. If you focus on what is good, you can project something good to happen. And if you focus on what is good, guess what? You can discipline yourself to be more positive and not negative. So focus on what is good. I hope everyone is having a good day, and I hope that the rest of the week is good for you. I have taken a brief break from the mic for just a minute because I've been a little busy, but I am back and I will have more episodes for you this week. Well, I have an inspirational quote for you today, and my inspirational quote is, "You are an example to others. Even if you think that you are not an example, you are an example. God has given us all a mandate to be an example for the next person." Well, that's something that I was thinking about today, because I was thinking about how somebody is always watching you. Somebody is always listening to you. It could be a person of any age. And the fact that somebody is always watching you, always listening to you, whether up close or from a distance, you have a responsibility to set an example. Now, I'm not talking about being fake and trying to be perfect, because none of us are perfect. But what I'm talking about is being conscious of your actions to the point where when you come in contact with someone, you are aware of how you speak. You are aware of your actions, so much so that you are being an example to others. Just think about this for a second. If most people focused on setting an example for others, can you imagine how many people would actually influence people more in society? Yes, there are people being influenced every day. We got social media and people are influencing people in some kind of way every single day. But I'm talking about influencing people to do more good, influencing people to be better for themselves, to be better for their children, to be better wives, husbands, to be better friends. According to how we speak and what we do, we have the power to do that. So that inspirational quote is for you. If you're listening to this podcast today, the inspirational quote is for you. You have a mandate by God to set an example. And I'm not talking about, like I said, being fake. Be who you are. Be the human, the imperfected human that you are. Be who you are. But in the midst of you being who you are, be mindful that somebody is always watching you. Somebody is always listening to you. And the fact that somebody is always watching, always listening, you have the power to influence someone. As a parent raising my daughter, that's all I would think about all the time. How I spoke, the things I did in front of her, it was going to influence her. So I had to be cautious. I had to be careful. I had to be conscious of it. I couldn't just do whatever I wanted to do and think it would not affect her. So I'm saying this to you. As you live your life, you have the power to influence someone. You have the power to influence someone to be better in everything that they do. Because every time you influence someone to do something good, you're planting a seed so that there can be a harvest later on. Not just for that individual's life, but for the life of someone else, because every seed produces after its own kind. And we all have the power to influence the next person. I know some celebrities say, well, I'm living my life. I don't have to be an example for nobody. Let parents be parents. Well, guess what? If you have a public platform of any level, guess what? God has given you a mandate. Yes, God has given you a mandate to be an example. Why? Because we all have the power to do so. And that's what he's expecting. Because of the platform he gave you, because of the good that he placed in you. All of us have some level of good in us. No matter how crazy we all are or have been, we all have some good in us. So what I'm saying is this. Be an example for the next person. This generation, they need more examples. When you look at society and see what's happening, young women, young men, they need us. They need us to speak more life over them. They need us to set the standard so they have something to follow. Because when you set a standard, you set an example. So when that child, that man, that woman, when they go out into society, the standard means there's a difference. And you don't have to settle for less when you have a standard. So, set the standard to be an example. I hope that this inspirational quote has given you something to think about, because these are my thoughts and this is what I'm thinking about today. Being an example doesn't cost you anything except for your willingness. And also, remember this. Every time you set an example for someone else, you are giving God a smile. Don't you want to do that? And for those that don't understand that, I'm telling you now, when you set an example, something positive for somebody else, you are giving God a smile. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So I hope that you are inspired by these words, because everything we do in this life, it will count for something, especially the positive things. When you throw a stone into water, it causes a ripple effect. So think about that for your family, for your children. If you're a teacher, think about that for your classroom. If you're a wife or a husband, think about that. You have the power to set the standard, and you have the power to influence someone to do something good. I have one daughter. I wish I had a son, but I don't have a son. But my only daughter, I said to God a long time ago, I'm going to pour all the good that I know to pour in this child. And I did it. She's not a perfect person, but I say this to you. I set the example. And when I did it, I know I gave God a smile. So I'm saying this to you. Set that example. Somebody needs you. Thank you for listening to SB Favorite Thinking Podcast. I'm going to do more episodes this week because, like I said, I took a break again and I can't keep doing that. So I got to do more episodes for y'all. Thank you so much for listening. If you would like to give to the podcast, you can give at Cash App, $SB Favor. Thank you for your support. And if you would like to reach me, you can reach me at sbfavor@yahoo.com via email. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at SB Favor. I also have a TikTok handle with motivational and inspirational content there. You can also find me on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, click like, and leave me some feedback. And make sure, share the podcast with others. Share the podcast with others. You have to do that. Share the podcast with others. Thank you so much again for listening. And like I said, if you want to support the podcast, you can give at Cash App, $SB Favor. Thank you so much for listening. You have a good day.